Mario and Rabbids is the series that continues to surprise. Kingdom Battle had almost no expectation when it released, but my gosh, did it blow everyone away. I didn't expect anything when I picked it up for discount, but it managed to warm this cold, dead heart with witty dialogue, expressive animations, and unique chess-like gameplay. Unfortunately, it never really captured me. It was a good game for sure, but I always felt like something was holding it back from greatness. I am a naive gamer and hope the next game would up the ante and improve on all the elements of the first game like all good games do. After all, a sequel to a very well received game was as inevitable as the misconduct allegations from the developer. I will admit, the recent allegations did tarnish my opinion, maybe more than a little. Where hope was soon turned to fear, then anger. From that point, I was hoping that Sparks of Hope would be a failure. I was rooting for it. Release came and I was ready to tear it to pieces. And much like how the original surprised everyone, it is incredible how persuasive gameplay can be. A game with incredibly tight gameplay can hit you like a perfectly harmonic symphony. Every stride from a character ebbs and flows in perfect sync with your thoughts and emotions. Much like how classical music can change your mood, great gameplay can overcome even the most disgusting controversy and remind you of why you play in the first place. Video games are supposed to be fun first, with gameplay at the forefront. In short, Sparks of Hope is really good. Since I've been high on the gameplay, let's start there. Most turn-based strategy games use the same move your character here approach that's been employed in every game since chess. Kingdom Battle evolved this a little by making you think about where all of your team is and placing them in the best possible position to strike. Only problem is, once you move, you're stuck there. Sparks takes a whole different approach. Instead of being locked into your movement, you're given the freedom to move around, to preview your movement, as it were. Even if you go through pipes, this is true. The only time your character's movement is truly locked is when they shoot. The advantage you have is you can run up to the enemies, use spark abilities or dash attack them, then take cover and shoot. This unlocks a plethora of strategies to use when approaching a battle, but still keeping it simple enough for little Timmy to engage with. This makes for much more strategic and satisfying battlefield gameplay. The battles, similar to the original, never get stale. Just when you thought you're getting good, boom! It throws you a new gimmick. And it isn't just gimmicks to make the battles tougher, as it was in Kingdom Battle. Think one boss battle is boring? How about 3 boss stages? Don't want to fight a boss? Then break these phase statues down while slowly working up a summit. Don't like breaking statues? Then here's a tower defense level. Don't like tower defense? How about 3 different teams with 3 separate battles, all while the final boss withers away at you with massive damage 3 times? You get the point. The aspects of the battle are constantly evolving as you progress through the game to always keep it fresh. To cap it all off, the battle mechanics are polished to an absurd degree. In Kingdom Battle, all of the starter characters felt like Mario with different abilities. Here, they all have unique weapons that feel like they belong to that character, and each one has a specific use. Take Rabbid Peach for instance. Her weapon can launch over cover and hit any enemy behind half cover. Mario has 2 guns this time instead of 1, and this makes him far more versatile than he was before. Even Rabbid Luigi utilizes a throwing disc to string hits on multiple enemies. I will admit, I criminally underused him in my playthrough, but everyone has a purpose, and they're still all very balanced, even though Luigi is still OP. This just makes your choice of characters more strategic than ever before. I honestly could play this forever, only there isn't an endless battle mode. Maybe they'll add it in DLC? The namesake of the game are the new additions here. Sparks give you a little bit of an edge up on the opponents. Now, I thought they would be an easy mode initially to help out newer players, but they actually serve a deeper strategic purpose. Remember when you had to choose between weapons in order to get a certain status effect? Well, sparks essentially replace that. One might be used to boost friendly status effect, some will summon another fighter to the battlefield, and others simply dish out devastation. These guys, when used correctly, can turn the tides of battle and give you hope once more. My personal favorite is this Thunder guy, or as I call him, Zeus. They also tie into the abilities Beepo can use in the overworld. Where there were arbitrary mechanics you gain in the first game, they are given to these specific sparks that you can encounter. These guys are plot specific, so you cannot use them on the battlefield. Take, for instance, Twinkie here. I know his name is Twinkle, but that's why I called him in my playthrough, so bear with me. You rescue him in the first world, and later on he gives you the ability to see invisible objects. Or this purple people eater guy. His atomic sneeze allows you to break previously unbreakable objects. Outside of the battles, the worlds have been vastly improved. One of the criticisms of the original for me was the fact that outside of the aesthetics, every world felt the same. They were too linear, and too little to do, aside from stupidly easy puzzles and coin challenges. The worlds here are vastly better. Each world feels more fleshed out, and you feel the plight of the natives. You really want to help these people retake their lands. The worlds take a more open approach, allowing you to explore each unique world and find its secrets on your own pace. It makes it feel more satisfying to roam around the world. Even red coin and green coin challenges feel much more thought out. The worlds here remind me of old school Paper Mario, and you know what? That's alright. Characters are the lifeblood of the story. No good characters, no good story. I'm looking at you, Marvel. The characters here, as it is in the original, are superb. The animations have a great deal of expressiveness, charm, and can be over the top in the best ways. Each character moves around in such a way that matches their personality. I mean, Rabbid Peach has this weird, funny little skip dash that she does, and Rabbid Rosalina has this cute little waddle as if she's just bored out of her mind. It's so cute and expressive. And honestly, this extends to the battlefield as well. But where Sparks really starts to take off compared to its predecessor is in the writing. Now, each of the legacy character coming in have a basic, and I mean basic, motivation. But it's par for the course if you're familiar with Nintendo games. The real sauce comes in the form of the new characters. A tremendous deal of care was put into fleshing out each of the new characters as possible. Each world has these portraits where, if you look at them, Beepo will give you a brief and often comedic story about them. All of the paintings tell the backstory of the warden of the world and their relation to that world and the plot at large. They all help to make these characters feel vulnerable, and really helps to give these people more weight. Even if you skip the backstory portraits, the cutscenes give you enough emotional pang to encourage you to fight for them, as it is in the Captain Orion subplot. One might say, it brings out the humanity in them. I have to admit, I was scared when I first saw that they added full voice acting for certain characters, but gratefully, not for the legacy characters. I'm happy to report that, for the most part, the voice acting is really good, and like the animations, the voices really match the characters they portray, unlike the Mario movie.
What is this place?
But I digress. Now, the new characters here are the ones given full lines of dialogue, with Beepo being the exception. Technically, you could include some of the Rabbid alter egos, but it's really just a refresh of their oomphs and yahoos. So let's not get pedantic. Anyways, I have to admit, when I first heard their voices, I thought we were going full send to Cheeseland. I'm happy to report that that isn't the case. The voice actors, regardless if it is for Beepo, Genie, Edge, or the rest, all deliver a fantastic performance fully devoid of cheese. Now, it can be jarring at times, going from full sentence speaking characters to Mario & Company with just their hmms and ah. But then there's Edge, who almost has full lines, but not really. But this is just a minor thing. Speaking of Edge, Initially, I wondered why she was added. Maybe for female representation. I'm not even going there. Luckily, she isn't a two-dimensional faux lady badass. She genuinely feels threatening to the enemies. She's a friendly, but she actually has a great motivation and even a twist at the end that admittedly you could see from a mile away if you're like me. The story, oh, where do I start? The first game had a bold yet somehow still toned down story. Like, even though things got wild with the Mario universe and Rabbids universe smashed together, it still had a rescue a kidnapped character trope we've seen a bajillion times. This one? Well, let's just say this is the first game, and this is Sparks of Hope. This is the most ambitious story I've seen in a Mario game since Super Paper Mario. It takes previously established characters and takes them to places I never thought Nintendo would allow them to, even in my wildest dreams. It is fresh. The characters, as stated before, are endearing and full of personality, and it's funny as hell. It starts immediately after Kingdom Battle. At least that's the vibe I get. After a quick intro, this little Luma-looking thing falls from the heavens. It turns out it was chased here by the Mega Bug. It's back! Rabbid Peach gets consumed by it, and it's up to Mario to go and save her. But something else is here. Out of a dimensional rift comes Cursa, the new big baddie of this game. Mario and Rabbid Peach get rescued by their friends and narrowly escape. After, it's explained that Rabbids and Lumas were spliced together to form Sparks, and that Cursa needs them to take over the galaxy. But you can't go directly to Cursa's stronghold yet, because you don't have enough fuel, and as it turns out, Cursa has plagued all of these worlds with these ink-looking puddles called Dark Mess. That's Dark Mess with an M. Whenever you attack an enemy or step into these puddles, you're teleported to the Dark Mist dimension to duke it out. But as it turns out, we can purify this Dark Mist to create fuel for our ship. Isn't plot convenience amazing? So, it's pretty much going from world to world, helping out locals and slowly moving closer to the final battle. I won't go into it any further, but there are some twists that are really ambitious to the point I'm surprised that Nintendo signed off on them. But I do want to talk here about some of the side plots. These are where the heart and soul of the game come out, and it really elevates it past its predecessor. I won't list them all for time's sake, but I will give you one of my favorites, like the aforementioned Captain Orion. He starts out as a deep space angler who is notoriously cheap. While out in the cosmos, he encounters Cursa. He makes a brisk escape, but ends up with a stowaway. This mysterious newcomer turns out to be Rabbid Rosalina. They end up crash landing on this barren tundra planet because he got cheap again and ran out of fuel. From here, this is all assumption, so take it with a grain of salt. But because of the extreme cold, they took up refuge in this mansion. Orion soon takes a liking to Rabbid Rosalina and becomes like a father to her. But I think Rabbid Rosalina was protecting Sparks, so Cursa sent Midnight to imprison her. And that's where we come in. Orion is locked out and really wants to get back to Rabbid Rosalina because he really cares for her. It's simple, but deeply touching, and not everything is explained. Half of this I had to piece together using the clues the devs gave me. It's nice to see them allow the players come to their own conclusions. But whatever way you see it, it's a heartwarming story of a father who would just give anything to protect his adopted daughter. And that's pretty much it. It's been a glowing review so far, but that's because I'm genuinely finding it hard to criticize this game. There are some times during the cutscenes where the characters just pop in out of nowhere. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Or there's a weird glitch where Luigi will aim straight up instead of at the enemy as he should. Perhaps Luigi is a better archer than we give him credit for. Either way, these are just nitpicks. This game feels like a true successor to the original. It elevates everything past the original. The story, the gameplay, the battle mechanics, everything is elevated to the nth degree. making everything feel better and everything more epic, as it should, as any good sequel should. But then, this brings in the problem of high expectations. It's amazing how much expectation can influence your perception, though. Like, if you have high expectations, like I had for Shrek the Third, you go in expecting greatness, but when those expectations aren't met, your disappointment is amplified that much more. The opposite can be true as well. I am almost glad my expectations were dashed pre-released. Not to say that the allegations aren't bad, they are, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just a YouTube critic, not a social commentator, guys. All I'm saying is, expectations are here for a reason, but it's always good to approach something with a neutral lens, especially when something has as much controversy as Ubisoft. But when everything around you is dark, it's nice to have something bright to look at. So yeah, that's my review of Mario & Rabbids Sparks of Hope, guys. It's a really, really good game. If you guys appreciated this, please like and subscribe. I'm going to be dabbling in more review-like content just to see how it fits me. But I do have a full playthrough of Sparks of Hope, so if you want to go check that out, I will put the links in the description. And if you guys liked what you saw, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!